Hi, warm welcome from LASSIB Society Bangalore chapter. This is Chandrasekhar. Today's topic is making collaboration work in organizations. And we chose this topic because keeping in mind the increasing silo culture in organizations today. To discuss this topic and share the recommendations to you, we have identified a very selective thought leaders from reputed organizations, and the panel had day-long brainstorming before coming up with this presentation with their recommendations. So, quick intro to the panel speakers. Mr. Shiv Venkatramani, VP Operations from Lab India. Mr. Srinivas KS, Associate Director and Head of L&D from Biocom. We have Mr. Harish Pant, who is the MD of Hamson Industries, and Mr. Meghraj, he is the Head Human Resources from Stride Shasoon. We have moderators, Mr. Nagaraj Gopalchar, who is the Group CEO of SME OneSource, and next is Chandrasekhar Padmasula, that is me, from Synergy Computer Solutions. And we have Vanita Khattar, she is the GM L&D from Aurobindo Pharma. With this team, we had a day-long brainstorming session, and we could come out with very good recommendations, which would be good takeaway for the audience. Before coming up with the presentation from the panel, a quick intro to the LASSIB Society. LASSIB means Fountain of Knowledge, and vision of LASSIB is to nurture next generation governance globally. And key facts about LASSIB Society: LASSIB could touch 35,000 plus lives through 20,000 plus certifications, 4,000 plus capability assessments, organizing CXO roundtable conferences, national and international conventions, seminars and talks at industry and educational forums, and also facilitated $320 million to great companies like ADP, BPCL, and GSK, and many more Fortune 500 companies in the areas of strategy, cost cutting, assessments, competency growth, etc. etc. So the reach of LASSIB Society is quite global. The recent additions being San Francisco and Mexico, which you can see on the map here. And essentially, the knowledge sharing happens through 4 communities of practices. We call them COPS here. It is quality and process management, human equity and change management, sustainability, learning and development, and knowledge and management. This particular roundtable conference is under the scope of learning, development, and knowledge management. Now, one quick slide about the sponsor, who is Synergy Computer Solutions, who has made it possible for this event to happen. Synergy Computer Solutions is headquartered at Michigan, at USA, providing IT services and solutions from over 20 years, and Indian operations from 2004. They are Microsoft partners, SharePoint and O365 experts, cloud experts, supporting Fortune 1000 clients, mostly in process automation and innovative intranet solutions. So, quickly to set the context, we have a couple of points to share with you. Today in organizations, we have all inherited, the leaders or have all inherited industrial legacy in thought and action. So our organizations are all looking same because of that, like pyramids, which have essentially making us go towards silo culture widely. So, but work doesn't flow that way vertically. It cuts across departments. That's the reason why we see more and more matrix organizations emerging within the organizations. So the technology has once again shown that people are social animals. The way people embraced WhatsApp or LinkedIn's or Facebook's likes, people are having fun connecting in personal lives. And so the big questions before us are the employees having enough avenues to connect with colleagues and partners, to seek and share knowledge? how do we make collaboration work in organizations? And how can we repair the situation before silo culture eats the organizations? So before we invite the panel to share their recommendations about this topic on the challenges and solutions and the case studies, I have a beautiful quote to share by Charles Darwin. It is a long history of humankind. Those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively only have prevailed. So with this quote, it has set the context. I'm sure we have lots to hear what panel has to share. First, I'd like to invite Mr. Shiv Venkatramani to talk about the set of challenges that the panel has discussed and would like to share with the audience. Please, Mr. Venkatramani.
Thank you, Shekhar, for the opportunity to be amongst this elite panel today. As a panel, we discussed some of the key challenges that we as leaders and employees of esteemed organizations face on a day-to-day basis that prevents collaborative behavior. And this is, we know that as leaders in companies and as employees, in high-powered sports teams, as well as even kids' football leagues, collaboration and teamwork is key to any organization's or team's success. So as a panel, we debated and discussed this, and we've come across some, we have outlined some challenges that we have bucketed them into process, people, and technology. And some of these are here for you to see.
Great. But then can you tell us a little more about how lack of translation of shared vision is all going to impact collaboration?
Sure. I mean, it all starts with the vision of a company. Most companies have vision statements, mission statements, and research has shown that a lot of these vision statements, strategies, lie as PowerPoint slides or some document in the desk of the CEO or on the hands of a few people. So there's been a lot of research conducted where they say that most companies have not figured out how to translate these vision statements and documents into actions. So obviously, if the team does not know the vision of the coach or the captain, it is very difficult to execute. So certainly this is a key area, a key challenge for companies and organizations that prevents collaborative behavior so that they can all work towards the same shared goal.
Sure. A bit more about culture of regional bias for the audience to understand a bit more what we're talking about.
I think what we've discussed as our collective experience, especially in a vast and diverse country like India, for example, there is a lot of regional bias where we have workers who have come from, who have migrated from a different state to another state, like say Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, and where they face a lot of regional bias amongst people who are not migrant, who are residents of those communities. So certainly these are big challenges inherently that prevent us from the employees from collaborating, because obviously there are regional differences, language barriers to overcome, and this also happens in even advanced countries like the US, where traditionally there has been a lot of migration, but still there is bias with one race or one region of the US or another country and so on. So certainly some challenges to overcome there.
Sure. And then talking about disconnect of KPIs, do you mean to say all KPIs should be same for the organization, or how is it actually? In the sense, is it a challenge? First of all, how is it a challenge?
So there is nothing wrong with KPIs for various departments being slightly different. For example, sales will have a top line or more of a sales mentality, versus operations will have a bottom line mentality of profitability, inventory management and so on. But what happens is there is a disconnect. So organizations are also, behaviors are driven by incentives, or rather incentives drive behaviors. So for example, what we are trying to say is if a sales organization is incentivized purely on top line revenue and not on profitable revenue, they're going to go sell their family jewels, where they are going to give away products at very low margins or almost no margins. They make their numbers, but the operations or the other teams who are charged with the responsibility of profitable growth cannot do much to protect the bottom line. So this drives wedges between the different departments, creates a siloed mentality. At the end of the day, prevents collaboration, and the organization does not win.
Great, great. And what is this orphan processes that I can see on the slide? Can you elaborate a bit more on what that?
Orphan processes, as we discussed today, is more around processes that are kind of lone wolves. These processes exist, but they're disconnected from mainstream processes. So there are a couple of employees who are trying to, kind of manage this process, work in the process, but they're really not connected to the mainstream of the company. So this creates a disengagement or even, what am I doing here type of concept. So you'll have to figure out how to integrate these lone wolf or these orphan processes. Although they're important and meaningful, but they should be connected to the mainstream. And the people who work through and manage these processes should be made to be felt as part of the overall operation or overall company's goals. Otherwise, you will have disengagement.
Oh, sure. So now under people, what I like you to elaborate is about the personal agenda misaligned with the organizational agenda. Can you explain a bit more how this is exactly a challenge?
So personal agenda is, as we discussed it as a panel, personal agenda a lot of times comes in the way of collaborative behavior. Now, how does it happen? At mid-senior or even CEO levels, CEOs or head of operations or sales come in with a promotion-driven mentality. So especially it happens in medium to large companies where employees are sent on foreign assignments or they're given very specific tasks, and they know that they cannot be promoted to the next level unless they kind of check box and finish this assignment. So they don't really drive behavior in their current assignment. What they do is they get the personal agenda ahead of the organization goals, and then they finish their term, and no matter if they have destroyed a collaborative culture, and they get ahead, whereas they leave the organization behind in tatters. And when this happens a couple of times, employees get kind of numb to this. And when a CEO or a general manager comes in with a real agenda of improvement, people turn a blind eye to it, and they don't want to respond because they've been burnt in the past.
Sure, I get it. But then, going to the next one, how is technology an excuse? I only know technology as an enabler.
This is a classic, and in fact, I frankly, this was the best. This was the best takeaway for me from this exercise today. We all do emails. Now we have SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. I mean, we have so many communication, collaboration tools. And rightly said, these are supposed to be enablers. These are supposed to make us efficient. But what it has done is, I think, overuse of this technology, or it's prevented us from actually doing face-to-face collaboration. So two things happen. One is, I do an email, and just because I send somebody an email, I consider my task done, because I also cover up my bases, saying I've done my email, I've literally thrown this across the virtual wall,
sure,
and it's up to you to catch it.
Right.
And rather than, and this person may just be 2 doors from me or sitting in the next cabin, and I still do email versus go in person and collaborate with him. And what could be a small problem that could be solved face to face in a few minutes takes 15 emails and an umpteen number of trail mails and a bunch of people unconnected to this conversation copied, and I think at some point it leads to lack of productivity. So I think we're all using technology as an excuse to say that yes, I've done my job, and not following up in person or over a phone call that can actually be more of a productivity enhancer than a productivity killer.
Great. Thanks so much, Mr. Shiv Venkatramani, for your recommendations. I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for the audience today. To understand, first of all, what are the challenges before actually taking on the task of improving collaboration in an organization. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Next, we have Mr. K. Srinivas from Biocon, who would like to share his recommendations on the solutions for the challenges that we just talked about. Thanks, Mr. Srinivas, for coming in today and sparing all your time. We can see on the slide the set of recommendations that you have. Can you elaborate the customer-centric vision? How is this a solution for the challenges that we're talking about?
Thank you, Shekhar. Challenge which we talked about is having a shared vision in the organization, and lack of it could lead to problems in collaboration. So a solution to that is a customer-centric vision. It simply means that all the employees of an organization understands how do they add value to the customer-centric vision of the organization. I would like to quote a case here. A very well-known pharmaceutical organization has set a vision of saving life, and the organization encouraged every employee to identify how do they contribute to this vision. The employee, whether he is working in sales, working in production, or working in HR, they are encouraged to identify what do they do to contribute to this vision of the organization. When employees perform their day-to-day task, they do not forget that they need to collaborate and not just perform their task. They collaborate with others in the organization to meet up with the organization vision of saving life.
Great, great. So what you're trying to say is it should be much larger, and which should be able to connect with employees and trigger their passion and emotion towards contributing something more valuable in their lives.
Yes, they feel connected to a larger goal.
Oh, great, great. That's really a good solution. And when personal agenda not aligned with organizational vision, what's really the solution out of this bunch of solutions you have?
Yeah, that can be a complex challenge. Misalignment with personal agenda with organization agenda. A few ways to minimize this is start rewarding collective achievement over individual achievement, and thereby people are motivated to achieve collectively and collaborate well within the organization.
Sure.
Also, not only reward the outcomes, reward positive behaviors. By rewarding positive behaviors, the organization motivates people to again collaborate and feel positive about the company and its achievements.
And their own being part of the organization.
Yes.
Wonderful. And how to address the challenge of culture of regional bias?
Yeah, regional bias can be not easy to evade. However, one change could be a solution is to modify the hiring strategies and encourage hiring based on diversity. Hire people from different background, different languages, and at the same time take caution that it is not too diverse.
Yeah, I was about to ask the same question. If it is too diverse, also probably collaboration might be a challenge. So we should balance between too much of a diversity and a regional bias.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
And this way, though it cannot be completely erased, but you could definitely minimize it.
Great. And I'm sure you're talking out of all your experience, hands-on experience. And it has been a great day having you here in this roundtable conference. It has really enriched with your presence here and with your contributions. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Shekhar. It's my pleasure.
For the next set of solutions, I invite Mr. Meghraj of Strides Shasun. He's the HR head there. Welcome, Mr. Meghraj.
Thank you.
The next challenge that we are talking about is the challenge of disconnect of KPIs among the various functions. How do you think a solution can be worked out for this kind of a challenge?
So thanks, Chandrasekhar, for giving me opportunities. Let me tell you what happened is that in the current organizations, the KPIs has been set by the functions aligning with the functional objectives, and thereby the entire focus of the people on achieving the functional objectives. See, there is a dealing between the KPIs of the organization's KPIs or between the functions. The interlink of these key objectives, key KRAs, is very important.
Okay. And do you have any case study supporting this?
Let me tell you that the current balance scorecard has been set by the HR functions, purely depend on the functional objectives, and individual KRS is aligned with the functional objectives. What I want to tell you is that the interlinking or aligning the KPIs between the various functions and function sets are very important. Let me give one example. The EBITDA. EBITDA is the KPI or KRA of a CFO or a financial functions. But if you are aligning this EBITDA as a KRA KPI of other functionals like sales functions, marketing functions, supply chain, even HR is very, very important. The people cost also contributing towards EBITDA. If EBITDA also a part of a KRA or a KPI of the HR focus will be also involved in the controlling the people cost.
Great.
Thereby, the EBITDA of the organization can be enhanced and the profitability will also go up.
Great. That's really a superb solution, in fact.
Yeah.
And this has been done in the organizations where you have worked, isn't it?
Yes. See, the people cost, I'm maintaining as per the annual budget is very important, or one of the key KRA of any HR head, or even HR verticals who are handling the departments or the manufacturing plant or any other verticals. So similarly, other KPIs like gross profit, gross margins, or inventory management, or a couple of like top line achieving the sales objectives can be aligned with the supportive functions, which is not seen in the corporate world.
Wow. That's really great. So then how do you think we should deal with the challenge of rigid structures and old practices of command and control?
We have to find out identify the core processes which can be converted into automations, identify the enablers, and introduce those enablers. Thereby you can avoid the human interventions or control by the certain top level senior people to take these key decisions on the key core processes. Thereby you can avoid by introducing the automations or enablers and focus on the more value stream organizations. That's very important.
Great. So that's really a great sharing today. In fact, we definitely enjoyed all the brainstorming with you, sharing all your hands-on experience, and these kind of inputs and recommendations that come from your hands-on experience and rich experience is very valuable for our audience. Thanks for spending your time today here and joining us. Thanks again.
Thanks, Chandrasekhar.
Now, for the rest of the solutions, we have Mr. Harish Pant, MD of Hampsons India. We have Mr. Harish Pant to share all his recommendations as solutions for the challenges that we discussed. Mr. Harish Pant, over to you.
Yeah, see, in the fast-changing world, where we are living in a volatile world and disruptive world, it is collaboration is becoming ever essential value for any organization to have. And with all these complexities, the first and foremost role of a leader is to inculcate behavior for collaboration as value in the organization, and for that he has to keep on communicating throughout the organization across the level, giving it complete importance so that it becomes part and parcel of the organization.
Great.
And the second thing is that once you put those values and you have well communicated throughout the organization, the next thing is the capability of of your team. That becomes important. In a complex environment, collaborative capabilities has to be instilled in the whole team. And for that to happen, we have to provide right training. We have to hire right people.
Right.
And this right hiring will give the right fit, and the training development, mentoring, coaching will instill those behavioral traits and capabilities in your team to support this collaborative work culture. And then comes, a leader has to also facilitate empowerment to his team, wherein people take end-to-end accountability of what they are doing. Once they imbibe this empowerment culture, which has an end-to-end accountability, then collaborative force develops on its own in the organization. And the last thing what a leader has to again facilitate is guarding those behavioral traits, practices which helps in collaboration throughout the organization.
Super.
And to that effect, a leader has to essentially do two things. One is awarding the right behaviors,
Right.
which sustains, supports, collaborative work culture. And at the same time, if something is falling apart, something is not getting aligned, addressing that in a proactive manner and taking corrective and preventive actions so that those things are not repeated in future. And with
Agreed.
this, what happens now? Technology can be an enabler, a facilitator, wherein it can support collaborative practices. But at the same time, if there is not a right sensitivity in the organization to use the technology in a proper manner, it can be, it can become a deterrent, to have a collaborative work culture. So to facilitate that thing, there has to be a policy framework which will define what need to be done and also define what will not be supported, which will not be encouraged in the organization.
Right.
So this sensitization is again a leadership responsibility, which a leader has to inculcate in himself as an example. True. And at the same time encourage, take people along to getting sensitive towards this trait, and so that you have a fantastic collaborative work culture in the organization.
Wonderful. So to beat the silo culture, it all starts from the leader. That's what it means, basically, what you're saying. So it all starts from the top and it has to percolate down the complete organization.
Of course, because leader has to take a comprehensive responsibility and accountability for inculcating a collaborative work culture in the organization, and this is one role which cannot be delegated. Nothing can replace it, and leader has to straightway facilitate this.
Absolutely. Great. Now, Mr. Harish, we would like to share with the audience, how do you see the future? What is your forecast related to collaboration?
See what happens. We can divide our discussion in two parts: how we see the world in 5 years time frame, and how we see the world in 25 years time frame. And here again, because of the speed of change which is happening throughout the world, it is becoming now more and more difficult to define what you can foresee in the future. But to share some of the thoughts, this collaborative skill is going to be more and more in demand.
Sure.
Because the routine, mundane activity which people were doing or are doing, those will be done by machine,
Right.
the equipments. Equipments, machine, all are becoming more and more intelligent. So, but one thing which technology cannot do is human collaboration.
Right.
where the sensitivity, ethics of the business, all these things play a very vital role in this collaborative.
It can only help, but it cannot really
Absolutely.
collaborate.
Absolutely. And what is going to happen as the we are talking about artificial intelligence, IoT, and those things, and where huge effort and research are happening. One thing is for sure that because all the mundane activities will be automated, we will see more and more specific experts in their field, and people will be working more as a freelancers.
Super.
And this will give flexibility in their personal life and professional life, and it will be good for the organization.
They can hire the best talent.
Absolutely,
in fact.
absolutely. And it might be also a possibility that a freelancer will work not for one organization for entire his career, but he may get associated with multiple organizations and in multiple domains also.
Sure.
An engineer can also be a great artist.
Sure.
He can be a great singer.
Right.
So so the whole definition of work is going for a dramatic change, and that is a certainty which is going to happen.
Great. We would definitely like to see this future coming in, and I'm sure as the future unfolds, we will definitely see these kind of things happening.
Yeah, one more thing I would like to add is that as the context is becoming more of a global now, anything which you do local is having a global connect. Anything which you do a global connect, it has to be propagated down to a local level. So in this global connect, one thing is going to happen is that people with very diverse background are going to come in this collaborative platform,
Right.
and they are going to work together. This we are going to see more and more happening as we go. So this is what I talked mainly about the 5-year horizon. Now getting into 25 years, this thing. One thing is for sure that we will see dissolution of functions.
Mm-hmm.
We are already seeing that, wherein now functions are becoming more of a supporting role,
Right.
where the main role is coming to, process ownership, process leadership, getting connected end to end. So one thing is for certain that the functions are going to dissolve.
Sure.
So we are going to see no more a pyramid kind of a work structure. We will also not see so-called flat, organization culture, organization structure, but we will see a typical freelance people, connected, loosely with the organization. They bring specific value to the, to a project, and they come together and they disband also.
Great.
This banding and disbanding is going to happen, very frequently in coming 25 years. Second thing is that collaboration, which is very diverse, very stretched, connected across the globe. One is connected to million, kind of a social connect we are talking about. One thing is for sure that technology as an enabler is going to play greater and greater role. That's why IoT, artificial intelligence, quantum, quantum is is a one big area where people are saying it will have a far-reaching consequences to the whole world.
Sure.
And one more thing is that a lot of collaboration will work in a virtual mode. A lot of technologies are getting developed by Google, by Microsoft, all the big tech companies, where virtual reality
Right.
people are talking about.
Right.
So we will see that a lot of collaboration will happen in virtual platform and virtual space.
Right.
And it will be very difficult for us to define what is virtual and what is real. Real will merge with virtual, or virtual will
The
merge
divide
with
is
real.
going to become very thin.
So this virtual and the reality mix is going to be going to give very exponential value
Sure.
or proposition to the organization, and that will have a very far-reaching impact in terms of collaboration, as such.
Sure. I can, as you say, I can foresee the future, how it is going to be.
Right.
It has been a wonderful evening with you, Mr. Harish. And thanks so much for coming down and sparing your time. And I'm sure everything that you're sharing here is out of your hard, hands-on experience, and rich and long experience, in fact. I'm sure audience has very good takeaways from this session. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be part of LASSIB, and as a LASSIB member, I'll be happy to contribute, as and when the opportunity arises. And it's a lot of thanks to you and the organization LASSIB.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thanks to you for being with us. Bye.